Hi. Welcome to day 17. My name is Sandra, and this is my fairy godmother and aunt,
Immaculata.
Yeah.
Or Mackie, as my nieces call me.
Yep. So, day 17, doing good. I went for a long walk this morning. I had therapy, and I complained and whined the whole time about how unfair this all is. But I'm feeling much better now after getting all of the out. I came for a lollipop, and I'm enjoying it immensely. I haven't had one since Tuesday. And
of course, she walks into me getting prepped for making some food, so that wasn't good.
That's all right. All right. So I thought we would discuss what an endoscopy is, and both Mackie and I have had numerous
GI treatments,
yes,
one way or another.
Endoscopies and colonoscopies. I'm assuming everybody that has EOE has already had an endoscopy, but if you think you may have it and you're not really sure what it entails, I can tell you about my experience. Mackie can tell you about her experience. My experience, I had my first endoscopy. I was like in my early 20s, late teens, I think. And it was scary. And now I've had, I think, 7. So it's not so scary. No, it's like, oh, I get a day off. Come closer to me because you're not in the screen.
It's hard for me to look at you. And be like, so I don't want to just be looking at the screen. So
yeah, got it.
When I go to talk, I'll come.
So what usually happens is the night before, you can't drink anything after midnight. It depends if you have a later endoscopy. I always try to schedule them as early as possible because
always a good idea.
Yeah, because the earlier, just the better, and sooner you can drink and eat. So I'd rather just roll out of bed, put sweats on, and just go in. I had one like COVID times a couple months ago, and their rules changed a little bit. Every single endoscopy up until that one, I always had somebody come with me, and I always had somebody listen to the doctor after I woke up from anesthesia. So actually, Mackie was the person who took me for the endoscopy that actually diagnosed me. So the doctor came in and was, started talking to me. I said, wait, I need somebody else to listen, because I don't know why they choose within a minute of you waking up.
You've just woken up and they start telling you everything.
And they start talking to you, and you're like, whoa, I still am just waking up. So that's sort of, so anyway, so they make you get into scrubs. For me, they usually put an IV on my hand.
Yep.
It's usually just water, saline water, but it's there in case something happens. They need to give you something else. They also do the anesthesia through there as well.
Right.
So that's, I think, the most painful part of it all.
Yes, because it feels kind of like, they're literally sticking a needle into your hand.
Yeah.
So they're cutting your skin.
Right.
So.
What else? So it's scary when you first go into the room. They, usually wheel you in, and you're just seeing all of these contraptions. For me, my glasses are off.
Oh, wow.
Which is even scarier, because I can't see unless something's right there. Yeah, it's just a little uncomfortable for me. Oh, actually, for both of us, they usually put something in your mouth of this big hole. Has that happened with you?
They never do that when I'm still awake. I'm sure they do it after I'm asleep, but I fall asleep like this. They tell me to start counting, and I'm like, 1, 2, out. So
I think that's happened to me once, but I think the last couple times, maybe because now I'm an old hat at it, the doctor's yeah, so it's this, it looks like this piece of construction, and they put it in your mouth, and then they wrap it around until your mouth is open.
Can't say I've experienced that, but that would be a little traumatic for me.
It is traumatic.
Yeah.
It is traumatic. It was, and I couldn't talk, and then they start, this past time, they were asking me, they were saying, because egg is one of my triggers. They chose a different anesthesia than usual. I really can't remember which one it was, but it burned. So they were like, all right, it's gonna burn, and then all of a sudden I was like, and I couldn't speak, and that was traumatizing, especially because of what's going on with my mom, and she can't speak. So that was like hard for me. Anyway, that's been my experiences in endoscopies. Why don't you talk about what it's like?
Well, for me, the endoscopy, usually I do endoscopies and colonoscopies at the same time, because if they're going to do one, I might as well go and get both done, because I eventually have to get a colonoscopy, so I usually do them at the same time. So for me, it's a little bit longer process, because then you have to start drinking all this liquid in that evening. So you stop eating even earlier in the day, so you can start having your liquids and clean yourself out prior to the colonoscopy the next day. So and that's not a fun thing. Although they have a new I guess liquid that they give you that is not the same as the old-fashioned way. Although the last time that I had to go for a colonoscopy, they gave me the same big, huge bottle that you have to drink. But I've had a couple times that they just give you these little bottles,
That's
and
what
you drink, and not a problem with it. And then the morning of, I tried the same thing as Sandra. Go in as early as possible and have your procedures done. That way you then come home and you're tired. You're tired. Even though they say that anesthesia makes you sleep wonderfully and you feel refreshed, well, that wears off after a little while, and you just kind of want to go back to take a nap.
Yeah. During, it feels like the best nap you've ever had.
Yeah.
And for me, I usually have like a little bit of energy, like I'm a little groggy, and then I'm usually very tired. I take a big long nap. Depending if I can't remember the word right now, like if they expand my esophagus, depends on what I'm going to eat the rest of the day or drink. My most uncomfortable day, I think I had like lollipops and ice pops, ice cream, so just like a liquid diet, because it wasn't painful, but it definitely felt uncomfortable every time I was swallowing. But that's been the most I've ever felt.
And they also recommend a light eating the first day, after you've just had all the procedures and everything.
Mm-hmm. And I have felt like burping, because I think they like
gas. You get gas,
yeah. But I can't think of any other tips. All right, endoscopy. Go in comfortable.
Comfortable clothes.
Yeah, go in comfortable.
And have your family pamper you afterwards. Always good.
Yes.
Have them pamper you.
Yes. I think I got a chicken soup from you once.
Yeah.
And it was yummy. Endoscopy. Yeah, they're just gonna ask you a lot of questions beforehand. For me, I know that gluten and egg are my two major triggers as of right now. So I definitely always say something. And I mean, it's unfortunate that now with COVID you can't have another person, but I found that just getting that second pair of ears is really helpful, especially with, a disease like this. And usually like 2 days later I'll get the full pathology report with, how many eosinophils per whatever. Just FYI, last time I think I was at 85, my last endoscopy. Anything above 15 is EOE, active EOE.
And when you first got diagnosed, how high were your? I thought they were
similar.
pretty close. Yeah, I think it was
very
because
similar.
85 sounds like the number that I recall from that.
It was high. I should know, but I don't know off the top of my head. But it has varied. I've never had a clean scope since, which is why I'm doing this. So we're close to the 10-minute mark. Hopefully this was helpful. We have a guest here, but although he's not in the screen, but Hudson, the dog.
There's 3 of them, so
yeah,
you might see a tail going around.
One of them was bound to come in. that's all I can think of. Can you think of anything else?
No,
Endoscopy wise?
No, not a great subject to bring up. Sorry that I had to meet you during endoscopies, but good luck.
And colonoscopy, I've done that too. Yeah, similar experience. I had like little packets and water, and I very clearly recall me thinking I could spend the whole day at work and then just come home. And all my coworkers are like, "Are you crazy?" So yeah, that's an interesting experience. Not as traumatizing for me as I think it can be, but exactly like what Mackie said. Like if they're gonna put you under, might
as well go once.
Right.
Why do it twice?
So, but I've only had that one experience, yeah, you get to take the day off the rest of the day and pretend you're sick. I mean, you know you're not feeling great, but you know, I pamper myself a little bit and watch, you know, series or something.
Yeah.
Just relax. All right, that's all from us. Be well.
Bye.
And happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.